Evening everyone, Ian from DIY Home and Gardening. New video that I'm starting today, or tonight I should say. Growing begonias. So yeah, I've grown thousands of begonias at work, but I've never bothered growing them at home. It's one of those where, to be honest, by the time I think about buying some of the bulbs and seeds that we do in the garden centre, the bulbs have normally been purchased by customers, so I never quite get round to it. Anyway, this year, making a conscious effort to buy a few things when I actually want them and see them. So yeah, so this year, begonias. I'll turn the camera around and show you the type I've gone for. Okay then. These are the ones in question. So it's a Begonia tuberosa type. Tuberosa meaning coming from a tuber, basically. These are upright varieties. They're not the trailing ones, so they'll give you a nice good upright plant, big double flowers, and as it says on there, they are, well actually it's back to front probably for you, I don't know. They're orange in colour. So they are produced, these particular ones, by Taylor's, which is a good UK bulb grower, and that is what a begonia tuber or corm looks like. So you can see they have that concave appearance to them. So that one's probably easier to see, so it has this sort of hollowed out middle to it, and it's actually from the hollow bit that it produces the sprouts. Exhibit A, see there's a couple of little sprouts forming, and then you get the roots coming out from below. So begonias, let me reposition myself. Begonias are one of those things where I don't know why exactly, but people assume that because begonias are quite happy in a sort of a partial shade position, that actually they like to be kept wet, and they don't. Yes, they will grow happily in a sunny position or a part shade position, you know, as long as there's a bit of light, daylight, they're quite happy, but they don't like sitting wet. If they sit too wet, then they will rot. The stems particularly will rot. It's one of those where, like, the begonia stem is quite a thick, fleshy stem, and so I suppose the assumption being that because it's quite fleshy, that it needs plenty of water, but actually it's the reverse. Because it's fleshy, it retains water, so therefore it is more tolerant of not having a lot of water. Also, as you can see, because they have this bowl shape to them, what tends to happen is when people plant them, they plant them too deep, which I'll demonstrate for you. So we'll go back a step. So I'm going to pot these up. Okay, so what I'm using, just a normal multi-purpose compost with some perlite added to it. The perlite is a drainage material, so we give it a slight press down, just leaving a bit of a gap at the top there. Take your corm or tuber, I'll demonstrate like so. Put it on the top, twist, and that's it. So you're essentially twisting it in so that you're covering about half the depth of the corm itself or tuber. When you've got it like that, let's find some water. I've taken the top of this and I'll demonstrate. When you got it like that, give it a light water around the edge, like so. That is done. The common mistake is for people to pour the water over the top of the pot, and so what happens is that the middle bit then fills up with water, and because it's bowl shaped, water sits in the middle, and that's what causes the rotting. So when you're doing your watering, water around the outside of the tuber or corm, or plunge your pot if possible into some water just so it allows the water to be taken up. That's at a juvenile stage, but really try and just water around the side of the corm itself. That is planting done. It's as simple as it gets. You don't need to cover it, you don't need to put special stuff in the compost. I mean, to be honest, you don't even need to use the perlite, but because I use this now as a bit of a generalised mixture, that's kind of how I'm doing it. So that's it, job done. Leave them to sit, and then once they start sprouting, then we'll come back and have another chat. So see you in a couple of weeks, I suppose.